All right, shall I press it?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right, we'll do it live.
How's it going,
Everyone,
people?
so we're redoing what we did. What was that, like 3 days ago? No, it's longer than
Yeah.
that.
No, we
Like
did.
5 days.
Yeah, we did a podcast a few days ago, and we're basically setting up a new system. I think we should probably talk about, what we was talking
Yeah.
about on the last podcast, which is, me and Luke have been away for, a few really years. I would imagine we haven't been fully active on YouTube for several years, but it's not
Yeah,
because
several
we've
years.
not been doing stuff in the background. We've actually been working on loads and loads of different things, various apps and stuff to help with, hair analysis and mineral balancing. I think one of the
Hmm.
things we realised, especially once we finished working with Dr. Wilson, is that in order to scale up hair analysis and mineral balancing, you need basically systems in place. So we've been working on them systems and bringing them to fruition, and hopefully we're going to show you some stuff, as we do the podcast live today. But I will say we have got a live chat going. So if you do have any questions, pop them in the chat. We did have a few questions last time on the podcast, which was quite good. But because we are being more active now on YouTube, definitely subscribe, like, hit the bell button to get notifications. Because every time we go live, we'll probably set up some sort of scheduling system so you can try and check in when we do go live.
Yeah, for sure. Like some sort of newsletter or something. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're excited for the rebrand. We're excited to bring this new sort of system to you guys. It's been a couple years. Um, but yeah, I think me and Lewis were moving forward still. We're moving still forward with our lives. Lewis got married, had a kid. Look at that. Is that 24 karat? Oh.
It weren't cheap.
It went cheap. Yeah. Mine was
Yeah.
cheap. I used my mother's wedding ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she left it for me when I passed away.
Oh, right, that's nice. Now we found a really nice venue, and we was going to get married next year, but we was looking on the website, and it was basically saying, if you get married this year, because obviously there was slots that wasn't uh, booked, then you would get a fairly large discount. So it was
Hmm.
like, why not? Let's just go for it. Which I suppose in one we did get the venue cheaper. But I suppose in one way it sort of made the wedding a little bit better because
Hmm.
that extra money we ended up saving. I think I ended up spending on the wedding anyway. So yeah, we had a really nice wedding. Actually, it was super good. And the thing is, I don't know if you've heard, but the English weather this summer has been absolutely horrendous. I don't know if you heard
Like
about.
like extra cold or extra hot?
No, really rainy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually we get pretty good summers, but I don't know if you heard that Europe had a huge heat wave. But
Hmm.
whilst Europe was going through this big heat wave, the UK was going through, terrible rain and stuff.
Hmm.
So, it got to September. We got married September 21st. Got to September, and the weather was just not looking good at all. And even to a point where the day before the wedding, the venue put all of the chairs because we were getting married out, planning on getting married outside. Put all of the chairs inside, So I went down in the morning, and the weather was looking good. I was like, "We're not doing it inside. I like get them chairs outside right now." So you know, God pulled it out of the bag for us on that day. It was a pretty hot day. So
Right.
yeah, it was super 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 nice. Really enjoyed it. But now back
Yeah,
to
and then,
back to the grind.
yeah, and then you kind of need
I've
to be
even got
aware of.
my wedding cup that my mum bought
Like
me.
the, oh, look at that.
Groom.
Sir Topham hat. Yeah, I could totally conduct Thomas.
Mm. So that's that. Obviously, had a baby. You've been doing other bits and bobs.
Yeah, I've
Um,
been moving property. Um, So one thing that's nice about the last couple of years is I set up kind of like a home base over the last 2 years. I put a house. I bought 7 acres total, 2 lots. It is more rural, so I can kind of do what I want with it more so because there's not as many. Uh, you know how it is, kind of like in America. The farther out you live, kind of the more stuff you can do with your property. There's just less authorities. You know what I mean? Not that I'm doing anything at all, but I have space now, and I can build it as I build the business and stuff. I can do stuff like I could even build a warehouse to store supplements. I could build a lab. I can do metal buildings with parking. If I had employees, I could basically do, with getting the heavy equipment in here, I could do anything I want, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
with that being said, we may as well go through in a bit of a chronological order of what's been going on. So, I think the first thing we did was we rebranded from Deep Healing Space to LifeLabs.ai. I think we sort of jumped on the AI bandwagon fairly quick,
yeah,
because it was hype. But I think the more me and Luke thought about it, we are building platforms that I'm going to try and show you soon, but it's not. We have got a chatbot that's sort of using ChatGPT functionality, but we're not using AI, and we don't want people to think that we're using AI to sort of generate people's programs or whatever like that. We're not really doing that. And for other reasons like, Google and the fact that there's other companies out there called lifelabs.ai, so we slightly changed the name to lifelabshtma.com, which should hopefully make it easier for people to find us on YouTube and stuff.
yeah,
I mean, one of the things that I'm pretty sure it's happened to us is we've been shadow banned on YouTube. So, I don't know, maybe we'll set up another YouTube channel and upload these videos onto there and see if it gathers steam. But I think to get around that, obviously we're going to try and push more people to subscribe to the channel and stuff like that, because we're in a position now where we can expand on the program, much more. So,
yeah,
I think what I'm going to do actually is share my screen. I'll sort of start from the beginning, I think.
yeah. Do a little
With
walkthrough.
with what's been going off, because there's quite a lot. But I'll try not to take up too much time. I think I'll start off first with the hair analysis report, and then we'll go over to Life Labs, because then it'll
Okay.
make people see what's been going off in the chronological order. So,
Yeah, it's pretty cool what Lewis is building, guys. He's been working on this app for like years. I remember him first telling me about it. It's it's cool to see something like that someone's put so much love and labor into get built out.
yeah, so I think basically what happened is when I was working for Dr. Wilson, you'll remember this, Luke, is that Dr. Wilson wanted us to basically respond to him when we get a hair analysis test, all of the major patterns on the test.
Mm-hmm.
And with the amount that we was charging, it was a bit of a laborious task, because me and Luke know all the patterns, but you've got to, you'd have to go through them one by one and figure out what patterns they are, and it was just an additional
Mm-hmm.
task that I wasn't getting paid to do. So I sort of
Mm-hmm.
decided to build an app. I think this was like 4 years ago now, 3 years ago, 4 years. I built an app to sort of speed up the process. And I think while I was building the app, I was thinking, do you know what, this is actually going to be really useful for practitioners. So
Mm-hmm.
now, as you can see on the screen share, it's basically a fully functional application now. I think we've run 2,500 reports through it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 200 practitioners signed up to the system. Obviously, not all of them use it. This is basically what I've been doing for the past sort of 3 years, 4 years, is building this sort of application, and the main focus of this particular application is to just analyze hair analysis tests.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to go through it now because it's big, but the idea of this is sort of like a foundation that me and Luke are going to build on top of, whereby we've got a system at the moment that does a really good job at analysing hair analysis tests. It will create an automated healing program You know, it'll create a automated supplement regime. You know, a lot of the personal, well, all personal data pertaining to clients and customers are sort of encrypted. We have got
Yeah.
quite a cool feature where you can sort of see side by side bar graphs. I mean, as far as I know, that we're the only people that do that, and
Hmm.
that's really useful because you know seeing things visually side by side is um, really nice, a really nice addition. So you can do other things like you can upload the PDF. But the good thing about this system is that you know in many ways, I mean, this just doesn't replace a practitioner; it just aids a practitioner. But in many ways, hair analysis is a bit of an algorithm. You know, you hear a lot of practitioners, well, not a lot, but there's a small number of practitioners that are really against using things like this because they say that, oh, well, it doesn't look at client history and stuff like that. But you know, in reality, even that's an algorithm. So,
Yes.
you know, we've actually started integrating client history and stuff, and it's going to get deeper and deeper. But, you know, an easy, so they'll say, well, what if a client says that they're struggling with constipation? Well, that's actually an algorithm, and if you get an individual to put into the application that they've got constipation, then you can change the algorithm to give them sort of extra GB3 and stuff like
And many
that.
people, and that's why kind of one of the reasons why we considered calling it AI, because many people would say that that's AI. You know, AI is kind of it's kind of like any word. It's semantics, right?
Yeah.
But it's important to realize that a computer, in my opinion, can never really think for itself in the way some people think. It's basically programmed still to do what humans program it to do.
Mm.
So, you know, what Lewis has done is he's programming his app to recognize things and help practitioners, in that form.
Yeah, for sure. And even ChatGPT, I mean, ChatGPT and OpenAI and stuff is like, oh, this is now AI. Not really. I mean, if you look at
Mhm.
ChatGPT, it's still an algorithm. It's just
Yeah,
a really good one. I mean,
exactly.
Amazon and Google have been using algorithms, you
Yep.
know, for
Yeah.
years. But yeah, I mean, this application is basically sort of a foundational application for me and Luke and other practitioners to basically really get deep with hair analysis and extract data on a scale that, in my opinion, no practitioner can really do
Hmm.
in terms of algorithmically. Obviously, that doesn't. It's never going to replace sort of intuition and one-on-one support. And excuse me about the noise. That's my son in the background.
You're,
You know, just sort of various bits of experience that a practitioner has. You're not going to be able to get an application that will beat that. So the idea is obviously not to replace a practitioner, but yeah, this is basically why I've not been so active on the YouTube channel because the good thing about this application is when more people start joining up to mineral balancing is we've got systems in place to um, aid the whole process of assessing people's levels of health, figuring out supplement regimes. I was just talking to Luke earlier. We're actually building children's reports now and baby reports, but going deep, probably to a level that most practitioners don't really have, where we can analyse things like ADHD and sort of tongue tie, and we can even change the supplement regimes based on sort of the months
hmm
and stuff like that, and give advice on sort of breastfeeding and homemade baby milk formula and stuff like that. So
yeah.
that's sort of what I've been working on for the past 3 or 4 years. But me and Luke have also been talking in the background about expanding things even on top of this. So I know Luke's been talking about doing a lab. I don't know if you want to have a quick chat about that.
Yeah, so I think where this is kind of going is just having a one like everything vertically integrated, right? So we have our own lab. Okay, people can mail their hair to the lab. Okay, then they get the results. The results kind of go into the app that everyone gets a login and then go access it. The practitioner can, or however they want to set it, however we end up setting it up. And then there's resources for the practitioners. Okay, that includes access to the app and training and things like that. And then that includes our own supplement line. You want to talk a little bit about the supplements I think you probably know more about the B activated vitamins than I do.
Yeah, so if anyone's been watching this channel for a while, they probably noticed that I personally started having issues with Megapan and Limcomin way back years and years ago, and then started seeing problems with it in clients as well. So I sort of mentioned it in my client chat group, and one of my clients was quite familiar with B6 toxicity. I think he suffered from it himself. So he sort of come to me and says, I think the main problem is the inactive B vitamins in Limcomin and Megapan. So another client of mine ended up basically making new versions of Limcomin and Megapan, and we called it Active B and Speed Up, but mainly for financial reasons, that wasn't working out for him. So we sort of discontinued that supplement line. Sorry about this. So we discontinued that supplement line, and another guy called Aaron, who's on Redox Stasis on Instagram, he was a bit bummed out that we discontinued the supplement line, so he ended up basically finding a manufacturer himself. And he's a real, he's really amazing at supplements in particular and all of the different ingredients and stuff. So we ended up putting together to manufacture a new Limcomin, which is out. It's called NAK Up, which you can actually buy from life.net. So it's LIIFE/Europe. So we're also manufacturing a slow oxidation supplement which will replace Megapan. We've also got a zinc supplement which will basically replace zinc for a high NAK ratio. And then we're going to expand upon that. So, one of the things that we were talking about doing is, combine, like a 4-low program, for example, combining some of the supplements in a 4-low regime into one supplement, which I think would be useful. And we might, in the future, we might even expand upon that and make like a slow oxidation supplement with a lot of the other supplements that we recommend mixed into one, which I think would be useful.
Also children's supplements, like a gummy, or most children tend to be in fast oxidation with a low NAK ratio. So really you could have a gummy for children, like I would say under 3, that just combines basically it's Paramin with Limcomin mostly, and then if we decided to, you could also add SPF formula.
Yep. So,
those 3.
So that's
there's
that.
So we can go with that
for sure. So we've sort of built the app, which is basically a hair analysis test analyzer. We've got a sort of supplement line kicking off. We've partnered with a couple of other people. So to supplement all of that, we've sort of got a new website, which is lifelabshtma.com, which I'm just going to pull up here. 2 minutes. All right. So I don't know if you going to say something then, Luke?
I was just going to say this is kind of where we want to bring back hair mineral analysis, is back to the sort of frontier in a lot of ways. I was talking to a client the other day, and I was just telling them about, Innomit's a great, and ARL, they're good companies, but you have to realize that they haven't, in our opinion, they haven't really progressed much in the last, I would say, like 30 years. The reason for this is because, Dr. Eck, he pioneered a lot of these things, like even, Dr. Eck, people don't realize this, that's an interesting kind of sidetrack, is that Dr. Eck actually was a fan of AI, or we could call AI. Dr. Eck used it to generate supplement reports. They have a computer program at ARL, and I don't know if anyone, probably some of you have gotten those old reports that they're still the ones that they mail, the paper ones. And how they generate those is with an algorithm. Now the algorithm hasn't been updated in 30, 40 years, I don't think. Doesn't seem to me. But, This is the history of hair analysis, right? Using algorithms.
No, yeah, I mean, we're basically expanding upon what Dr. Eck did. I mean, one of the biggest issues with the program reports from ARL, as Luke said, they're outdated. They don't have some of the newer stuff that Dr. Wilson found.
Supplements as well.
Yeah, the supplements are not quite updated to what they should be.
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes. Don't want to get my babies walking around here.
Yeah.
And I think one of the major things that we can do, obviously children and baby programs. I don't know if Endomet are they automated at Endomet, but I think one of the things that we can really expand upon on the app that I've just shown you is really deeply integrating client history and client routines and stuff. So again, a simple algorithm that a lot of practitioners sort of boo-boo computer-generated programs when they shouldn't do is, if a person writes down on their general information sheet that they're eating bread or cakes, sugary foods, and their calcium-magnesium ratio is high, you can actually build an app that will flag that up. So it'll say, look, you've got a high calcium-magnesium ratio, which is related to blood sugar imbalances, or basically the body's struggling to handle the amount of sugar that it's consuming. You've written down in your general information sheet that you've been eating, X, Y, and Z. This is probably contributing to that, so you need to cut that down. Mm-hmm. So that's just a simple algorithm that you can integrate. That's something that no lab does at the moment. That we're obviously wanting to build upon that. But that's mainly, I suppose that app is sort of mainly for practitioners to use. So moving forwards is what is the reason for us to be going onto YouTube more often? Well, it's obviously to help people, and generally the people who watch this channel are people who are not practitioners. So what we have done is set up a new website, which you can see now, which is lifelabshtma.com. Mm-hmm. So there's two things that you can basically get from this website. The first thing is obviously the opportunity to work with me and Luke privately as clients. So just go to the website, click work with Lewis and Luke, and we both have slightly different ways of working, so you'll get information from email. But yeah, we've basically built a membership. So the membership platform is for people who are interested in hair analysis, who are interested in the channel, who want to learn more information. So it's basically an app, and you can sign up here. Just click join our membership. It's just $15 a month, and this is sort of an ongoing organic system where people can sign into, and they get loads of different things pertaining to the mineral balancing program. So this is the app. You've got a news feed which acts very similar to sort of Facebook, so you can sort of post updates, post questions if you want to, share pictures, share files, share videos, etc, etc. We do have a little chatbot down in the left hand side, well, not a chatbot, a chat functionality down the left hand side, so you can chat to people who are online, similar to sort of WhatsApp or Telegram. We've got the mineral balancing course. So this is a course which has all of the diet, the water, lifestyle, detoxification, and again, this every time we add something to the program or learn something, we will be updating this application, this membership. So obviously, any client who works with me and Luke will get free access to this system. But for anyone else, you can purchase it. We've tried to keep it as cheap as possible. Then you got the AI mineral balancing chatbot. So basically, this chatbot is using the same language model as ChatGPT, but what we've done is we've fed it literally thousands and thousands of articles on hair analysis and mineral balancing. So you can basically go to this chatbot. It's a little bit like a, not an AI practitioner. And if you got a question, you can ask it. Ask it a question.
Yeah, try it out. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you've ever used ChatGPT, it's pretty, you can learn. It's a useful tool. You can learn a lot quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was with ChatGPT, it wasn't 100% taught on hair analysis and mineral balancing specific.
Yeah,
so
right.
we've actually fed it the information that we want it to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't you? Yeah, you fed it his whole book, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, just like ChatGPT. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of questions, but the way that this system works is you're not actually regurgitating other people's work. It's a mathematical formula whereby you feed it a lot of information, and all it does is it will mathematically figure out the best next word to give you. So it's not actually regurgitating anyone's work, if that makes sense. But we'll leave it to OpenAI and ChatGPT to figure that one out. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, use it as you wish.
It's pretty.
You can type in sort of what is a follow program. So if you was to type in what is a follow program on ChatGPT, you'll not get anything remotely the right answer.
Right.
Yeah, so it's very, very useful. So that's that. So I asked it what is a follows program. It's a special protocol used to restore balance in individuals who have a specific pattern on a hair analysis test. So you could type in what shows on a hair analysis test. What shows in a hair analysis test to say a person is in a follow pattern. I'm putting myself under pressure here using this live.
Under pressure.
There we go. So follows pattern occurs when the levels of calcium, magnesium, sodium and potassium are all below their ideal levels on a hair analysis test. This can indicate an autonomic nervous system imbalance or a type of stored transition pattern from fast to slow oxidation. It could also be related to lifestyle factors such as working too hard or an attitude that wears down the body. So thank you very much, my AI system. It's rose to the occasion on this live stream.
That's awesome.
All right, cool. So next we've got a forum. So everyone's familiar with a forum. You can basically ask questions and put things into topics and threads. Other things like a shopping list, which is useful for looking at the minimum balance shopping list. The troubleshooting app is extremely useful. I mean, this is very, very accurate. Basically, this application will try and figure out how likely or unlikely you are going through a healing reaction and what specific toxins, if you are likely to be going through one, you probably dumping. So basically, the first thing it does is it figures out how well you're doing the program, because the better you're doing the program, the more likely you are to go through a healing reaction. On the second page, it'll talk about sort of smoking gun symptoms of healing reactions, create a calculation. And then on the next page, it'll talk about sort of symptoms related to various toxin releases or metal releases. So it'll give you a good idea. We've got a journal. That's self-explanatory. That's obviously a personal journal. We've got a private messaging system. We have an articles page. And as I say, as we grow and improve, things, we're going to update this app. And when Luke gets in a lab, we'll probably integrate the lab into this app, and everyone can see the hair tests and stuff like that. But if it's popular, me and Luke will do private videos in there. That sounds a bit weird. It's not like OnlyFans, but we'll do special videos. We might have to have a premium service for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll add videos in there, and we'll do private sort of chats with people who are members and whatnot. So hopefully you'll feel like you're getting bang for your buck, as the Americans would say.
Yeah, and we'll add more as it goes on. Courses. It will either but there'll be like free courses or like a free introduction course. It kind of just talks about like an overview of like things. Or I feel
I
like
mean, this
we keep
is
adding things as it goes on.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about what we've got going at the moment is we've got a good foundation for anything that can happen. So as the program grows, we've got applications to support people. I'm working on a practitioner system at the moment. So if we get overwhelmed with clients, we can get people working with verified practitioners that we recommend, and we can really focus on getting the word out there on a much more bigger scale, because one of the difficult things that me and Luke had before we started doing this is, time is money when you run service-based businesses, and in order for us to expand things and grow things, you need systems like this in place, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the reasons why we put in a lot of focus into getting the YouTube channel working smoothly. Like I said, we did a podcast a few days ago and there was a problem with the audio, and the same guy, Josh is here today. Hi Josh, if you do have any questions, Josh, let us know. We do have a question on there.
We do.
I don't know if you want to answer that one, Luke.
Alright, here, let me look. Oh, here we go. I wasn't on the chat, sorry. Hey guys, sound good. Who can cure bacterial infection? OnlyFans. Who can cure bacterial infection? I'm taking it that English is not your first language. Can I cure a bacterial infection? It depends what type of bacterial infection you're talking about. I don't know. I have no context for that question.
Yeah, I mean, I think the things with bacterial infections is that you've got. You kind of need to be working with a practitioner to figure out what bacterial infection it is, but in general, if you have got a bacterial infection, they sort of like avoiding sugar and fruit juices and soda pops and stuff is really important. Drink plenty of pure water.
I think that bacterial infections people are talking about are in the intestine.
Oxygenation is really important for bacterial infections. So breathing deeply, getting a nose on machine. Colloidal silver, B propolis, etc. is really helpful. Now, what I want to tell you is I actually give you the answer from my AI chatbot. So I just quickly typed it in, and there you go. So
yeah,
sign up to the membership. You would have answered that question yourself.
Yeah, with a bacterial infection, it kind of depends if you're talking about like a chronic infection or an acute infection. Like obviously, like if you have a bacterial infection in a wound, you clean it with like hydrogen peroxide or something like that. I think probably what he's talking about, the most common ones in my experience are just in the gut, right? Like they have a bacterial infection like somewhere in the colon or like the large intestine or something like that.
Yeah, it depends. There's a lot of factors involved. Red heat lamps are obviously going to come into taking vitamin A. But again, it's if the question is, does a mineral balancing help with bacterial infections, the answer is yes, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
So if it's an acute one and you're not following a mineral balancing program, then it kind of depends on other factors. But if you do sign up to the membership and you type into the chatbot what specific bacterial infection you've got, you'll probably get a very good answer. So that's that. So I know. So yeah. Anything else we want to go over in this particular introduction podcast?
No, I got to go in a few minutes, but yeah, it was great to do a video again. We want to start making a lot more content, podcasts, more videos in general, and yeah, I'm excited to go on this journey with you guys where we want to take it, because like we talked about, hair analysis it hasn't been taken forward in this way. And a lot of the aspects of it are quite old now. And although the formula is still good, obviously this is a science that we believe in. We don't really want to change that. The foundation's been set though, but now we really want to take it, into the 21st. Is that what we're in? Is this the 21st century? Yeah, 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 and beyond.
Yeah, I think that's our motto. Taking mineral balancing into the 21st century.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's sort of a bit of a dig at, But look, people build on,
Right.
people build on top of people. That's how society grows and how things. So, if it weren't for people like Dr. Eck and, ARL and Dr.
Hmm.
Wilson, there's no way we could do what we're doing now back in the 80s. It's just impossible. So, they've done the heavy lifting and still are to a degree. And, we're just evolving. That's what life's all about at the end of the day, just evolving things. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we did talk about Dr. Wilson quite a lot in our past video. I'm probably not going to talk about him as much now, but, one of the things that was challenging when we worked with Dr. Wilson is how stifled we was in terms of, expanding things and getting things out to people much more. So now we don't have that problem. We sort of, we're able to do what we feel intuitively is the best for this whole space. And for me personally, like, I want to try and get a lot of people on podcasts, probably from different backgrounds as well. Maybe some
Hmm.
some key trace elements. I've got questions to ask. I think before I was quite hesitant to get people on the podcast that might have different views to me. But I think it's important to
Yeah.
for people to get a well-rounded, um, you
Right.
know, assessment of their own, you know, their own thoughts by listening to other people. So, and I think one of the things that I might have fell into is, and it worked to a degree, but just thinking that you know, Dr. Wilson was just um,
Hmm.
100% correct on everything, and in my opinion, I mean, we've improved upon just recently, the supplements. So there's always things that can be improved upon. I think I was talking in the last podcast about,
Yeah.
in my opinion, there's sort of like a phase two to neural
Hmm.
balancing, which is, once you've got yourself healed, there's all these other aspects to life that are really important. I mean, financial health, which is something that Luke talks about a lot. Your relationships with friends and family, your relationships with, your children, and even material wealth. Humans need some material wealth and experiences. So there's all this other aspect to the program that, one thing that I fell into was, if I just got myself healthy, that I'd be happy. And that was a big shock to me about 5 or 6 years into the program, where my health was, stable and pretty good, but I wasn't happy, and I had to on this whole of a journey of, figuring out what humans need really to be fulfilled and happy on, you know,
Hmm.
on a fairly regular basis. Life does throw curveballs at you fairly often, but if you've got a good solid foundation in all of your key areas of your life, then curveballs, are much more easier to deal with. I know you was talking before, Luke, about a curveball you had
Oh yeah,
to do as
getting
well.
gravel on. I have like a 350-foot driveway that I have to put gravel on periodically because it just gets so much watershed. And yeah, I was getting a load of gravel, and then the utility company showed up with a crane to take out a tree next to the power line within like the same 10-minute frame of me doing gravel. But anyways, guys, I got to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, we'll end the
you,
chat. But if you do, yeah, like, subscribe. We're going to be
yeah,
pushing this way more often now. We need to get the YouTube algorithm in for
yeah.
us.
I'll
And
answer
if you do have a
chat.
question, pop it in the chat, and
Yeah,
then on the next podcast we can probably go through them
yes,
questions and then answer the other questions live.
yes, 100%.
So that's
All right,
that. So good chatting to you guys, and
thanks, Chad. Loves.
catch you soon.